The rain had turned the city streets into mirrors when I finally left the office. It was almost midnight, and after 14 hours of work, all I wanted was to get home, lock the door, and forget about my boss for one night. Then someone suddenly opened my passenger door. I nearly jumped out of my seat. It was Emily, the daughter of my boss, Richard. She climbed inside, soaked from the rain, breathing heavily as she pulled the door shut. "Drive," she whispered. I stared at her. "Emily? What are you doing here?" She looked over her shoulder toward the office building. "They're looking for me." That was enough to make me start the engine. I pulled away from the curb, watching her carefully. Emily had always been confident and outspoken, but tonight she looked completely different. Her hands were trembling. "Where do you want to go?" I asked. She hesitated before leaning closer. "Take me somewhere private." My grip tightened around the steering wheel. "Emily, if something is wrong, you can tell me." "I will," she said softly. "Just not here." For several minutes, neither of us spoke. The windshield wipers moved back and forth while the city disappeared behind us. Finally, I drove toward a quiet overlook outside downtown. When I parked, Emily stared through the windshield. "My father thinks I betrayed him." "Why?" She reached into her coat and pulled out a small flash drive. "Because I discovered something about the company." My stomach dropped. "What kind of something?" "Money has been disappearing. Millions of dollars." I looked at the drive. "And you have proof?" She nodded. "I found transactions hidden under fake accounts. Someone has been stealing from the company for years." "Then why come to me?" Her eyes met mine. "Because I don't trust anyone else." The words hit harder than I expected. "Emily, your father trusts me. That's exactly why I chose you." She explained that earlier that evening, she had confronted one of the executives. Before she could leave, she overheard him talking to someone about destroying evidence. Then she saw my boss walk into the room. She didn't know whether her father was involved. That uncertainty frightened her more than anything. "I need you to help me get this to someone outside the company," she said. I took the flash drive but didn't plug it in. "If this is real, you could be in serious danger." "I know. And if your father is involved?" Her voice cracked. "Then I don't know who my father is anymore." For the first time, I saw tears forming in her eyes. I moved the flash drive back toward her. "We're not going to make a reckless decision tonight. We'll protect the evidence and contact a lawyer in the morning." She looked relieved. "Thank you." A long silence followed. Then she gave a nervous laugh. "You probably think I'm crazy. I think you were scared." I was. She looked down at her hands. "When I saw your car, you were the only person I could think of." I didn't know how to answer. The rain continued falling around us, soft against the windows. Then my phone rang. The screen showed my boss's name. Neither of us moved. Emily whispered, "Don't answer." I watched the phone vibrate between us. Then a message appeared. "Where are you? We need to talk. Now." A second message followed almost immediately. "And don't let my daughter leave with you." Emily's face went pale. I looked at her. She looked back at me. Whatever was happening inside my boss's company was much bigger than stolen money. And somehow, we had just stepped directly into the middle of it. The phone stopped ringing. For a few seconds, the car was completely silent except for the rain. Then Emily whispered, "He knows." I looked at the message again. "Maybe he knows you're missing, but that doesn't mean he knows what we found." Emily shook her head. "You don't understand my father. He always knows." Before I could respond, headlights suddenly appeared behind us. A black SUV turned onto the overlook road. Emily froze. That's him. I immediately started the engine. The SUV accelerated. Drive. I pulled onto the wet road, tires splashing through puddles as the SUV followed close behind. My heart pounded while I tried to keep control. Is that your father? I asked. I don't know. Then who? I told you. Someone at the company was watching me. The SUV moved closer. I turned sharply onto a narrow side road and switched off my headlights for several seconds. The darkness swallowed us. The SUV continued past the intersection. Emily exhaled shakily. Where are we going? My apartment, I said. Nobody knows where I live except a few co-workers. She hesitated. Your father might know. Then we won't stay there. I remembered an old cabin my uncle owned outside the city. It had been empty for months. 40 minutes later, we arrived. Inside, Emily sat near the fireplace while I locked every door. Give me the drive, she said. I handed it over. She connected it to an old laptop. Folders appeared. Financial records. Bank transfers. Employee accounts. Then Emily opened one particular file. My name appeared on the screen. I stared at it. What the hell? Emily's expression changed. This is impossible. The document showed payments made under my employee identification number. Millions of dollars. I stepped away from the laptop. Someone framed me. Emily looked at me. That's why my father told you not to let me leave with you. Suddenly, everything made sense. If the police found us together with the evidence, they could make it look like I had stolen the money and Emily had helped me escape. Then my phone buzzed. Unknown number. A message appeared. You have one chance. Bring the drive to the old warehouse by 2 a.m. Come alone. Emily read it over my shoulder. Don't go. I'm not going. Another message arrived. If you don't, Emily pays the price. Emily's face went pale. For several seconds, neither of us spoke. Then she slowly stood. They know exactly where I am. I looked toward the dark windows. Someone had been following us. And now we had less than an hour to figure out who. The clock on the cabin wall showed 1:23 a.m. Emily stood beside the window, staring into the darkness. We have to assume they're watching the roads, she whispered. I closed the laptop. Then we don't take the roads. She looked at me. What do you mean? There's an old service trail behind the cabin. It connects to a gas station near the highway. Emily nodded slowly. But what about the evidence? I held up the flash drive. We make copies. For the next 20 minutes, we worked in silence. I copied the files onto 2 separate drives and uploaded another encrypted copy to a secure account. Then Emily noticed something. Wait. She pointed at the screen. One transaction appeared again and again. Every payment had been approved using the same digital authorization. Her father's authorization code. Emily stared at it. My father did this. Or someone stole his credentials. She opened another file. A list of shell companies appeared. At the bottom was the name of a private investment firm. Emily suddenly went completely still. I know this company. How? My father owns it. The room seemed to shrink around us. Then we heard something outside. Crunch. A footstep on gravel. Emily grabbed my arm. Another step. Someone was walking toward the cabin. I switched off the lights. We stood motionless. A shadow passed across the window. Then someone knocked. 3 slow knocks. Emily covered her mouth. I quietly moved toward the back door. A voice came through the darkness. Emily. She recognized it immediately. My father. I looked at her. Stay here. No, before I could stop her, she walked toward the front door. Dad? Silence. Then Richard spoke. I know you're in there. Emily opened the door only a few inches. Her father stood outside alone, soaked by rain. His expression wasn't angry. It was terrified. Emily, you have to listen to me. She stared at him. Did you steal the money? Richard's face collapsed. No, then why is your authorization on every transaction? Because someone has been using my credentials. He looked at me. And they're trying to make you the scapegoat. I stepped closer. Who? Richard looked over his shoulder. I don't know how much time we have. Suddenly, headlights appeared between the trees. Richard's eyes widened. They found us. A vehicle stopped near the cabin. This time, 2 men stepped out. Richard grabbed Emily's arm. Back door. Now. We ran. The 3 of us disappeared through the rear entrance and followed the narrow trail behind the cabin. Branches scratched against our faces as we hurried through the darkness. Behind us, the cabin door slammed open. They're inside, someone shouted. We kept running. Finally, we reached an abandoned maintenance shed near the highway. Richard locked the door behind us. Emily turned toward him, breathing heavily. Tell me the truth. Richard looked at his daughter. The money wasn't stolen from my company. She frowned. Then where did it go? Richard swallowed hard. It was being moved to protect someone. Who? He looked at me. You. My heart stopped. What? Richard reached into his coat and pulled out an old photograph. It showed me as a child standing beside my father. I stared at it in disbelief. Richard whispered, your father and I were partners 20 years ago. Then he added the words that changed everything. Your father didn't die in an accident. The room went silent. He was murdered.